Hey there! Welcome to day 34 of our BU 365-day challenge to do one thing every day that that improves us. Last year we did one thing every day to center us from a little journal book called Do One Thing Every Day That Centers You. This year we are creating our own daily challenge, our own annual challenge, and every day we're talking about something that we can use to improve us. This month, this segment, we are focusing on emotional well-being. Last month we did physical well-being and all things physical, our environment, our bodies. This month, this segment, we are focusing on our emotional well-being. Now, we talked about yesterday, above all, emotional beings, and that leads us in today's topic, which is our emotional power. Emotional power is our ability to use inherently short-term emotions to yield our best long-term interests, right? To create the best outcome for us in the long term, even though emotions are short-term, right? Emotions and feelings don't really last a long, long time unless we choose to live in them. Now, this led to the topic of emotional energy and how controllable we feel some emotions are and others aren't. For example, sadness, a lot of people believe, is caused by outside circumstances that we can't control. A lot of people got really, really sad when COVID hit. A lot of people got really, really sad when we get really, really sad and grieve when someone that we know or love or care about or even have heard about passes away or transitions to the next, the beyond, whatever you believe. And we feel like an outside circumstance happens and we don't control that outside circumstance, so all we do is react. So we're reactive. Those are what people consider non or uncontrollable emotions. So sadness might be one of those, because things outside of us happen and we feel sadness, we feel grief, we feel whatever, but we're not in charge of the cause of that exact event, which creates a reaction and an emotion in us. Now, other emotions are considered that we have absolute control over, and the cause is controllable, therefore we have more power over those emotions. For example, anger. A lot of people believe that anger is something we can absolutely choose or choose not to act upon, right? We all feel angry sometimes, we all get upset about stuff sometimes, but we get to decide and control our actions based on that. Well, the truth is, we get to always choose and control our reaction and our actions in every situation. It's just that some emotions and some outside causes and some things affect us more than others. But it's always within our power to control. And as soon as we realize that, it gives us so much power. But along with power comes responsibility, right? Everything that, if once we know that we're in charge of choosing our emotions in any situation, we feel them, but we always we experience them in our body, right? That's the emotion part. And the feeling part is our subconscious automatic reaction. We can set up our own definitions and our own subconscious automatic reactions to different outside stimulus that impact us. Let's look at an example. If you get super upset and anxious over political things or political unrest, or are really for one political party and the other political party just totally irritates you, then guess what? Turn off the media, turn off and cut yourself off from sources of things that cause you to be angry and upset. Why? Because we don't need to feel fear, anger, or upset, or worry, or doubt unless we choose to. And I don't know about you, but I don't ever want to feel that way. So what do? I just turn those things off. I don't expose myself to political stuff on social media, political stuff on regular media, YouTube, advertising. I guess that's social media. I just don't do it. I choose not to participate because I know that kind of stuff. Number one, the arguing part of it really upsets me. So I'm not going to expose myself to that. So our emotional energy is how we feel about what's going on in our lives, what's going on around us, what's going on in our body, what's going on with work, relationships, everything. That's our emotional energy. And the energy we bring to certain situations will impact other people's energy. Whoever has the strongest energetic force or an emotional energetic force will influence the people around them. That's why it's so important that we choose who we spend our time and energy around, right? If somebody makes you feel bad all the time, are you going to hang out with them? If somebody bullies you and belittles you, are you going to be their friend and hang out with them? Only if you're a masochist, right? So we want to use our emotional power for things that make us feel good. I actually grabbed this card today, and it says, I choose my unique path to joy. Remember I said a lot of the emotional ones all speak of joy? Why? Because happiness and joy are actually what all human beings seek, right? And it might not be the same way you would seek happiness and joy, but we get to define what things mean. But everybody is actually just trying to find a way to feel good. And what feels good to me is different than what feels good to you. So you have to identify, and that's why almost all the cards for emotions this month speak to some kind of joy or happiness or feeling good. And this is no exception. I choose my unique path to joy. And this is reminding us that we get to decide and choose what's right for us. And on the back it says, no one can create in your experience, for no one can control where you direct your thoughts. No one can control how you choose to respond to the different outside stimuli or the different emotions that you feel in your body. You get to decide what they mean. It says, on the path to your happiness, you will discover all that you want to be, do, and have. And that's so true. So what's our action item today? Given all this information, and I think the one thing we need to remember, and that the card sort of speaks to, is only we, and we alone, have power over our emotions, power over our feelings, the ability to control them. Whether the cause is an outside influence or an outside thing, or an internal thought or belief or thing or experience, or recalling something from the past, or worrying about something in the future, we get to decide all of that and choose all of that. And we can use our energetic power and our emotional power for good, or we can use it for evil. I'm going to contend that anything you use for evil will come back on you tenfold, just like anything you use for good will come back on you tenfold. So remember, you're in charge of your own personal power. Emotional power is a huge component, if not the most important component, in our personal power. And nobody can take your personal power away from you unless you give it to them. And I've been guilty of that, giving away my personal power. As an employee, we give away some of our personal power. We let someone else tell us and control us and be in charge of us in certain decisions during a period of time in exchange for wages and money, etc. I've been an employee. I've done that. We do that. Most of the population, most of us do that. We trade our time for money. And over time, as we realize what our true worth is, and I don't think there's any job on the planet that pays a human being what they're worth. So if you're feeling bad because you don't think that you make enough money and you feel like you should make more, guess what? You're right. And so is everyone else on the planet, because we are infinite beings, and nobody is going to pay us just to be an infinite being and to be ourselves. So our action item today is think about, how in control are you right now of your personal power? 1 to 10. On a scale of 1 to 10, just share a number in the comments below, and no judgment. Right now, right this minute today, how in control of your emotional power do you feel? Again, this is a gut response, right? Because 1 being totally reactive, your emotions rule you. You just react based on whatever you're feeling. 10, you're the master of your emotions. You're very proactive. You choose how you're going to respond in every situation, and you've got it set up, and you've defined all of your emotions for you. What does anger mean to you? What does it take to get you angry? What does success mean to you? What does love mean to you? What does it take for you to feel love? What does it take for you to feel angry? What does it take for you to feel grief, doubt, worry, fear? And we'll work on this throughout the entire month, coming up with our definitions and then how we feel them in our body. We're going to tune into, how do we feel these emotions in our body? How do we respond? And what do we want our process to be for dealing with different emotions, especially strong emotions, right? The emotions that are super strong on either end of the spectrum. We want to make sure we control the process of those, and we reclaim our emotional power in 80 to 90% of the situations we find ourselves in. All right, that's it for today. Any questions, hit me up. Big topic. All these topics are big topics, right? Anything that involves you is the most important thing to you, and therefore a huge topic and of great importance in your life. All right. Share in the comments below, 1 to 10, where do you think you are? I guess let me think about where I think I am. Right now, today, I'd say I'm probably about a 5. Pretty average, right? Not super great, not pathetic, not 100% reactive, definitely not 100% in emotional control. Maybe I'm a 6 or a 7, but definitely in that mid-range, a little above average, but in the mid-range, not where I want to be, which is great, because that means I have room for improvement, continuous improvement in everything, right? All right, have an awesome day. I'll be with you tomorrow.